Hey, how is it going? It is your muscle building coach, Lee Hayward, with the Total Fitness Bodybuilding video chat. And today, as always, I'm going to be hanging out here on the video chat answering any questions that you may have with regards to building muscle, losing fat, any specific challenges that you're dealing with when it comes to your workouts, your nutrition, all that kind of stuff. So if you have anything that you would like to discuss or any questions, topics of discussion, feel free to post those into our chat window, and I will be more than happy to do the best I can to help you out over the course of our chat today. And one thing that I want to address now before we actually get into some of the questions, and this is a common theme that I hear a lot from some of my coaching students and people who are struggling with fat loss, and there are people who are starting off a new fat loss program, is they constantly think of the going to these extreme measures, meaning like, what foods do I need to cut out? I'm going to cut out the junk food. I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to start tracking my calories and tracking my macros and all that. And I mean, it sounds good in general when you think of that, but one of the strategies that I've implemented, and this is something that has allowed me to not only lose the fat and get lean, but stay lean without feeling like I'm on a diet, is instead of focusing on what you need to eliminate from your diet, focus on what you need to add to your diet. It's a totally reverse psychology mindset, if you will. And surprisingly, it actually works much better. So instead of thinking, hey, I need to cut out the junk food, I need to cut out the chips and the processed foods and the pasta and the bread, and I need to cut out this and I need to cut out that, think of what do you need to add. Like, maybe you need to add in more lean protein. Maybe you need to add in more vegetables. Maybe you need to start drinking more water. Maybe you need to start eating more high fiber foods, more high volume foods, right? Think of what you need to add to your diet instead of what you need to cut out. Because by simply adding in more of the good stuff, then you push out room for the bad stuff. But you don't feel like you're eliminating it or feel like you're depriving yourself in the process. And I'll give you an example of how this can work in the real world. Because if I tell you that you have to cut something out of your diet, it's not a fun experience. Like, let's just pretend, for example, I said, hey, you can never eat pizza ever again. I mean, what do you think when I say that to you? If you can never have pizza ever again, then all of a sudden you think, well, gee, I want to have pizza, right? You actually want it more than ever, and you start obsessing over it because I just told you can't have it. Like, when you tell somebody they can't have something, that makes them want it even more. But instead of that, how about I just said, hey, you need to eat more protein, you need to eat more vegetables, you need to eat more fruit, you need to drink more water. I mean, by doing that, you naturally have less room for the not so good stuff. And we used this strategy, my wife and I, a couple weeks ago. Like, we ordered a pizza. I admit, right? I crave some junk food from time to time, and we ordered a pizza. But we did things a bit different than what we used to do. Because back in the day, when I was at my heaviest and kind of really let myself go, one of the things that we used to do whenever we'd order a pizza, we'd always get the biggest, ginormous, jumbo, supersized pizza that the pizza place offered, right? It goes from small, medium, large, extra large, and then jumbo, right? And I'd always order the jumbo, right? Sometimes the pizza would be too big, it wouldn't even fit in the oven, right? Like this ginormous pizza. And then, of course, I would stuff myself with pizza, and then I'd have leftovers the next day. So I'd be eating pizza for like 2 days. And it was just, overkill. But that's the way I used to do it. And of course, that's why I got fat and out of shape, is because I was eating, massive amounts of junk food like that. But we ordered a pizza a couple weeks ago, and how we went about it is, instead of ordering the jumbo size, we just ordered a medium. And instead of just starting with the pizza, before I sat down to eat the pizza, I had a garden salad, and I always have a large garden salad. It had a chopped up chicken breast in with it as well. So I filled up on the garden salad and the chicken breast first. So I pre-filled my belly with protein and veggies. And then afterwards, I had pizza. And I was only able to eat 2 slices of pizza before I was full. Because, again, filled up on the veggies, filled up on the salad, filled up on the chicken. Then when I had the pizza, I still got the eating satisfaction and kind of got that pizza craving out of my system. But I did it with 2 slices. 2 slices of pizza, and I was comfortably stuffed. I was comfortably full after that. And I was able to feel satisfied with having the pizza, enjoyed it, but move on. Whereas in the past, if I had to just started eating pizza right from the get-go without pre-filling my belly with the veggies and the protein and the good stuff first, I probably would have ate 6 or 7 slices of pizza before I got stuffed. And I'm going to tell you from personal experience, eating 2 slices of pizza versus eating 6 slices of pizza, like the pleasure doesn't increase with each slice. Like after you get the taste and the craving satisfied, like the 6 slice isn't any more satisfying than the second slice. It really isn't. So that strategy that I just shared with you, I mean, it's such a simple strategy, but if you actually take this and apply it to your own situation, to your own dietary habits, your own lifestyle, and try it this weekend. I mean, I know a lot of people use the weekend as their excuse to eat junk food. Try it this weekend. Have the food that you're craving, whatever it is, if it's the pizza or if it's maybe some chips or maybe it's some, cake, cookies, ice cream, whatever it is that enjoy it in moderation, but fill up on the good stuff first. Fill up on lots of quality vegetables, lots of protein first, and pre-fill your belly with the good stuff so that you naturally have less room for the bad stuff after. And this is such a simple strategy, but it works because it allows you to enjoy your eating without feeling like you're on a diet, without feeling like you're hungry or going deprived or anything like that. And this is something that I've shared with a lot of my personal coaching students. And I'm telling you, it's a game changer. Once you totally understand and start applying this, it is a game changer because it allows you to, to quote unquote, have your cake and eat it too, right? This is one of my strategies. Now, if you'd like to get more strategies like this, things that are practical tips to help you with losing body fat, building muscle, and do so without feeling like you're depriving yourself, without feeling like you're giving up on the good things in life, then I actually put together a free PDF report that I'd like to share with you. And it's called How I Went From Fat to Ripped After 40. And this is available right on my website at leehayward.com. So if you want, you can head on over there right now, leehayward.com. Right there in the side menu bar, you'll see it. It's a link. You just click on it. It's free PDF download. Just enter your email address there, and I'll send it to you right away. So it's a 69-page ebook, jam-packed with lots of practical insights, and not just, the generic, counting macros and stuff like that you typically see with all the other, Diet 101 articles online. This one focuses more on practical strategies and mindset, because the mindset is where so many people struggle. Like, everybody knows they should eat less junk food. They should exercise more. They should eat healthier. Like, everybody knows, hey, I should eat less and exercise more. I mean, that's so basic. But how do you actually make those strategies work within your lifestyle? That's where it gets challenging. And then, like I say, that strategy I just shared with you there, filling up on your protein and veggies before you eat your not so good foods, that's just one of several strategies that can help to move you in the right direction. So again, if you want more of those, head on over to leehayward.com and download a copy of How I Went From Fat to Ripped After 40. And like I say, it's a killer information, jam-packed book that'll help to get you moving in the right direction. All right, so there. It's a long-winded intro. We got a lot of people tuning in. Who we got? I'm just going to scroll back to the top. We've got Zach joining in. We have Jersey's joining in. We have the last fake natty is joining us. Well, I'm sure you're not the last, but you're one of them. Sean is joining us here. Let's see. Lee Dunnigan, Sean. A couple questions coming through there. All right, let's just see. I'm going to start jumping into the questions right now. This one is from Sean L. How much do you think the average man can bench? Don't just give me that it depends crap. I want a number. I want a number. Give me the number, what the average man can bench. Quite honestly, the average man doesn't even bench press, right? What's the number of people that actually go to the gym and work out? Maybe 10% of the population actually go to the gym on a regular basis and work out. So if you look at the average of that, the average 90% of the population doesn't even bench press. How much does the average man bench press? I'm going to throw out I would say the average person, if they could bench press 100 pounds, that would probably be an average. And again, this is just me doing a off the top of my head, because you said, don't give me that depends crap. Well, I'm going to say, I'd say the average man can probably bench press 100 pounds. Some are not going to be able to bench press the barbell. Then, of course, you're going to have some elite level powerlifters who can bench press 500 plus pounds. But I'd say overall, when you're looking at the average across the board, factoring in senior citizens and people who are overweight and out of shape and everything else, I'd say 100 pounds is probably a pretty normal average for the bench press strength. And again, I have no scientific backing behind it. It's just me giving an answer off the top of my head. So there. Let's see. Lee Dunnigan's joining us. Let's see. All right, we got a weird question there. Someone wants phenomenal cosmic powers. I don't have phenomenal cosmic powers, so I can't help you there. You're going to have to, use the force, Luke. There we go. Someone's asking if Harvey is napping. Heck no, Harvey's not napping. We just picked him up from daycare before I got on this video chat. He's all full of piss and vinegar and energy. All right, but nope, not napping. He doesn't normally have naps anymore. He's kind of gotten out of that. But when he does sleep, he usually sleeps for a good 10 to 12 hours in a stretch when he does get to bed. But as far as naps, it's pretty rare if he has a nap anymore. Let's see what else we got. Hope you and the family are doing well. It's from David. Yes, we are doing really well. Doing well, except the weather is not very summer-like here where I live. In Newfoundland, this past week, it has been cold. It's been rain. Like today, it got up to like a high of 10 degrees and rain. Now, 10 degrees Celsius, which is approximately 50 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's the middle of July, and like I got to bundle up with in layers because it's cold and it's rain. So I haven't been able to get outside as much as I like to, which is unfortunate, but hopefully the weather is calling for some sunshine over the weekend, so I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully they're right. Let's see what else we got. We've got Mike joining in from Vancouver, over on the other end of the country. Welcome, Mike. Glad to have you tuning in. Let's see what else we got here. Just a second now. Oh, shoot. I'm doing this on my phone here, so it's a bit weird how this works. Let me see. Never mind. All right. Just scrolling through the chat there. Let's see. David's saying, thanks for the vids. Very useful. We've got Azim joining in. Haley, any idea on how to incorporate jump rope into a workout because we're still going through lockdown? Any body weight exercises for back apart from pull-ups and inverted rows? All right. Jump rope into your workout. Just jump rope. I mean, it's ideal as a warm-up. You could do it as a cool-down. You could do it in between sets. I mean, like, there's really no right or wrong way to incorporate jump rope into your workout. One thing I will say, jump rope, even though it's technically cardio, it's high-intensity cardio. So you could actually incorporate that in with a strength training workout. Like, you could have that as part of, could be with a leg workout, could be with a calf workout or something like that, because you're not going to be able to jump rope for very long before you start to get that lactic acid buildup and the fatigue setting in. I mean, unless you're in really good shape and you're used to jumping rope, like you're like a trained boxer or someone like that who's regularly jumping rope and doing it for prolonged periods of time. Like, most people are going to jump rope for a couple minutes and be gassed. Like, that's just the reality of it. So I would probably incorporate it as a part of your leg workout would be ideal, because that frequent jumping, that kind of impact, is really good for conditioning the legs, especially the calves. Like, you will get a killer pump in the calves. That's one of, like, anybody who has stubborn calves, start adding jump rope into your routine. That will help to spur on some new growth in the calves. I can tell you that right now. Other exercises, you're saying, like, what are some things you can do for your back? There's a lot of stuff you can do. I mean, even when you're at home. If it depends on what you have. If you've got dumbbells or barbells or some sort of free weights, I mean, obviously you can do barbell rows and dumbbell rows and deadlifts and good mornings. If you have rubber resistance bands, you can pretty much do all those exercises with rubber resistance bands as well. But even, like, get yourself like a heavy sandbag. You can do sandbag carries. You can, there's all kinds of different exercises that you can do. I'm just thinking, like, I have a sandbag that I used to use for functional strength training. I mean, like, you can just do different types of loaded carries. You can, like, clean it. You can clean and press the sandbag. Uh, do like just grip it like in a bear hug and just do walks with it. And there's like any exercise like that will really help to strengthen the back. So I mean, it doesn't just have to be pull-ups and inverted rows. Another one that's a neglected exercise is the good morning. A lot of people don't do enough good mornings, but that's a phenomenal back exercise. It's not just the back, it's the whole back of the body, the whole posterior chain. You get your everything from your traps, your spinal erectors, your hips, your glutes, your hamstrings, all come into play when you do good mornings. And of course, you can do good mornings with a barbell. You can do good mornings with rubber resistance bands, right? You can certainly incorporate those into a home workout routine. Check out some of the videos that I posted up on the Total Fitness Bodybuilding Facebook page. There's several follow-along home workouts that I took you through there, as well as like even on the YouTube channel as well. I've got playlists covering exercises from home workouts to gym workouts, but there's a full playlist series showing dumbbell exercises that you can do for all your major muscle groups, and there's a full back workout using dumbbell exercises there as well. So bottom line, there's no shortage of exercises. You can't use lack of equipment as an excuse, because there's always things that you can do if you get creative. We have Alvaro joining in. Welcome. Glad to have you tuning in. Any tips on mind over matter? When I attempt a personal best, particularly on back squat, I literally have a voice in my head saying I can't make this lift, which is unusual as I'm usually a very positive person. All right, I've got some feedback on that. That little voice is there for a reason. It's there to keep you safe. Because if you didn't have that voice in the back of your head kind of giving you warning whenever you're doing something that's potentially dangerous, we would do a lot of crazy shit and probably end up killing ourselves in the process. So having that little voice is not necessarily a bad thing, right? You want to listen to that voice, and because that's your gut, your intuition. And it very often can guide you in the right direction. So, I mean, if you're lifting too heavy and you get that little voice in the back of your head saying, this is too heavy and I'm probably going to hurt myself, you probably are, right? Seriously, you probably are. What I recommend when it comes to achieving progressive overload with your workouts is to be very conservative with those increments. The way that I built up my strength over the years, like this, back when I was competing in powerlifting, and I'm not, by no means am I like, elite level powerlifter or none of that stuff, but my best lifts, I did, 525 squat, I did 445 bench, and I did a 530 deadlift. Those were my all-time personal bests in the 3 power lifts. And how I built up to those was 5-pound increments. So every time I'd try a new personal best, it was just adding another 5 pounds to the barbell. So as I worked up the spectrum, so I mean, like even back when I was a newbie, and I just, hey, hit 200-pound bench press for the first time, right? What do I try next? I'm going to try 205. Once I get 205, okay, and then next week I'm going to try 210, right? And then I'm going to go just 5-pound increments. And if you keep doing it in small increments like that, your risk of injury is much lower than trying to do too much too soon. One of it's a stupid mistake, and I see it all the time, is people trying to make these big, massive jumps in weight. Like you see guys, say on the bench press, someone will bench press 185, and they say, okay, that went well. Hey, let's slap 2 plates on, and let's try 225. It's too big of a jump. It's way too big of a jump, but I see it all the time. Right? Or you see guys like bench press 300 pounds and they say, okay, I got 300. Well, let's try 350. No, it's way too much. I mean, that's when stuff goes wrong. That's when you end up pulling, straining, tearing, hurting something. Small increments. And you can even go smaller than 5 pounds, because now you can buy these fractional weight plates, which can go up by like a half a pound. So like you can literally increase your lift by 1 pound. And you know what? If I was serious into powerlifting again, that's what I would get. And thankfully, out at Platinum Health and Fitness, the gym that I train, they have fractional weight plates available. So for people who are into powerlifting and want to focus on small progressive overload, that's available. They have the small fractional plates, and I think they are half-pound weight plates. So you can literally increase the weight by 1 pound. So you can add 1 pound to your bench press, or 1 pound to your squat or deadlift or overhead press, or whatever it is that you're working on. And the likelihood of getting injured by going 1 pound heavier is very slim. and the odds of you actually making that lift is very high. So, I mean, if you successfully lifted 200 pounds and you did that confidently with good form by yourself, no help from a spotter, then the next workout, there's a good chance you might be able to get 201 pounds and then get 202 pounds and then 203. I mean, by building it up small little increments like that, it's a safer way to go about it, and mentally it's easier as well, right? It's not that daunting to go up 1 pound, but if you try and go up too much, like go up 20 pounds or more, then that's when that little warning light goes off saying, hey, this is probably too much too soon. So that's my strategy for overcoming the battle of the weights when it comes to the gym. Small increments, smaller jumps in weight more frequently. That's the secret right there. And that applies regardless of what level you're at. Who else we got? Mike is joining in. Welcome, Mike. He says, is it possible to get big legs with unilateral exercises and no squats? I've had a full hip replacement 10 years ago, so I'm just curious what I can do. You can make really good progress without squats. I've known competitive bodybuilders, I should say, because powerlifters obviously have to squat because that's one of the power lifts. But I've known competitive bodybuilders who've gotten big legs without squatting, right? I mean, yes, the squat's a great exercise if you enjoy it and if your body's built to squat, but you don't have to squat. You can do other leg exercises instead. You can do the leg press, you can do leg extensions, you can do leg curls, you can do lunges, you can do step-ups, and whatever other machines that you have available at your local gym. I mean, there's all kinds of leg machines these days. You do not have to barbell squat if you don't like barbell squats. I don't do a lot of barbell squats anymore. I mean, I still do them from time to time, but it's not a must-do exercise in my routine. So, I mean, you can still make great progress without squatting. And as far as the whole hip replacement thing, that's becoming more and more common these days as well. And I've known several guys who have had hip replacements who have recovered from those hip replacements and are back to actually lifting respectable weights again. In fact, there's someone I know locally who's been competing in powerlifting, and he's actually back to competing in powerlifting and squatting big weights, like squatting over 400 pounds on fake hips, right? And he's pushing 50, right? So I mean, he's not a young buck anymore. I mean, he's got fake hips. He's 50 years old, and he's squatting 4 plates a side, right, on fake hips. So I mean, it can be done. It just takes time. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to jump into that right off the bat, but I mean, through progressive overload and smart training and everything else, you can still make progress and still get stronger, despite the fact that you've had hip replacement. How's the COVID situation in Canada? That's from Chris. Well, across Canada, it really varies depending on the place. I mean, where we are in Newfoundland, there is no COVID. Literally, we haven't had a case of COVID in over a month. So things are it's still not back to normal. Like, we're still very conservative. The restrictions and all that are still in place. Not everything's open at full capacity. So we're still very, very conservative, but we're gradually working our way back into whatever the new normal is going to be. But I know in other places, there's still lots of cases of coronavirus. So it varies. Obviously, the bigger, more populated areas have more cases. Smaller, less populated areas have less cases. Where we're to in Newfoundland, it's pretty small in terms of the overall size of Canada, and we have 0 cases right now, and hopefully it stays that way. 0 cases. But the crazy thing is, we still have people going around with their masks and their gloves, and the same as if there was cases all over the place, but there hasn't been a single case in over a month. So I feel pretty safe when I go out around right now. There's bigger threats out there right now than the coronavirus, at least where we're to locally. We have Alvaro's asking, according to Mark Rippetoe, CrossFit and air squats and sets of 20, etc., make strength actually go done. I think you mean down. He explains this in detail in his book, Starting Strength. What's your opinion on the topic? If you're training to be a powerlifter, then it makes sense to structure your training according to a powerlifter, which is generally heavy weights and low repetitions and training for that peak all-out strength. If you're training for other forms of fitness or other forms of sports or athletics or whatever, then you don't have to do that. It depends on the individual. It depends on what it is that you're training for, and it depends on what you consider going down, right? Like, just because someone can squat 500 pounds or more, I mean, okay, they may be a good squatter, they may be a good power lifter, but then have them do another sport or another form of, another activity or whatever, and they might suck, right? Okay, they might be able to be a big squatter, but hey, how good are they at running a 5K run, right? Or how good are they at playing some other sports? They might suck at that. So you really have to pick and choose what it is that you want to focus on. And if you're just looking for general health and fitness, then you don't need to worry about your 1 rep max squat. I mean, like, at the stage that I'm at now, I couldn't care less what my 1 rep max squat is. And I don't have any idea what my 1 rep max squat is, because I haven't done a 1 rep max squat in, literally, I've not done one in over a decade. So I have no idea what it is. And I really couldn't care less, because that's not my priority at this stage. I want to be healthy, I want to be fit, I want to be agile, and I want to be injury-free. And that's my main goal. And I want to be lean, right? I don't want to be going around with a big gut. I want to be lean, fit, agile, and healthy. That's my main goal at this stage of the game. So it really depends on what it is that you're training for, right? I mean, Mark's obviously powerlifting guru, and he knows his stuff when it comes to powerlifting. So if that's your goal, then yeah, absolutely. Follow his advice when it comes to powerlifting. If your goal is something else, then no, that advice doesn't apply, right? Like, yes, if you want to study powerlifting, go to a powerlifting coach. If you want to study CrossFit and you want to be good at that, then go to a CrossFit coach. If you want to study, endurance sports, then go to an endurance coach. Like if you were going to a running coach and they were giving you advice on how to improve, say your 5K run, it's going to be totally different advice compared to you going to a powerlifting coach and they're telling you advice to improve your 1 rep max squat, which is going to be totally different advice than you going to a bodybuilding coach who's telling you how to get in peak contest shape. Like, there's so many different disciplines of fitness, and you really need to look at what it is that you want to achieve and follow the appropriate advice based on you, your situation, and your goals. All right, it's not that one is right or wrong, it's just different. All right, let's see what else we got. We have Ralph joining in. How you doing, Ralph? I think you missed a question about unilateral exercises. No, I don't think I did. Unilateral exercises, single limb exercises, you can certainly do that. That was the one you're asking about squats, right? Can you build big legs without squats? Yes. And as far as unilateral exercises, I mean, you can incorporate those into your legs as well. If you want to do lunges or step ups or something like that, or single leg presses or single leg extensions. I'm just going to scroll back, make sure that I did answer that question properly. Where is that question? Shit, I think I missed it. There we go. Yeah, so he said, can you build big legs with just unilateral exercises? Yeah, I know I didn't address the word unilateral in my exercise, in my question, but the same stuff applies. Yes, you can build big legs without squats, and if you want to incorporate unilateral exercises, that's totally fine. You can do that. And I actually like doing unilateral exercises. I don't do them exclusively, but I like to include them as part of my workouts just to help build balance and proportion. So pretty much every body part, I will incorporate some single limb or exercises where I'm hitting each side equally. Whether that's dumbbell exercises or whether that's single limb exercises, such as a lunge or a step up or something like that, because you want to develop balance and proportion between both the left and right sides. Now, chances are it'll never be perfectly equal. Like, chances are you'll always be stronger in your dominant side than compared to your non-dominant side, but you can minimize that imbalance with proper training. Azim is saying, you once said training opposing muscle groups. What about opposing muscle groups for calves? It's the tibia, the front of the shin. I don't do a whole lot of exercises for that, but if you want to train, agonist and antagonist muscle groups, then you would do your calf raises and then you would do toe raises. That's what you would do. And if you actually do that, like balance it out with calf raises and toe raises, you will actually get better results. So, I mean, the toe raises are pretty simple. I mean, you could just use your body weight alone. And instead of having your heels hanging off the edge of a block or a step, you would have your heels on the block and your toes hanging off the edge. And you would almost do like a reverse calf raise. Instead of a calf raise, it's a toe raise. And that movement, that muscle, the tibia in front of the shin there, it's a very small muscle. So, I mean, it's not one that you're going to need to handle a lot of weight with. Like, even just body weight and high reps is plenty. But that's how you would balance that out. Check out just go to my YouTube channel and search for Lee Hayward calf training tips or something like that. It's one of the most recent calf workout videos that I posted, and we actually do cover some exercises for the tibia. It's one of the videos that I shot when I was down in Florida at the Critical Bench compound earlier this year. So but that one we do cover complete calf workout, including exercises for the tibia. We have Space Battleship Alex joining us. How's it going? Mike is saying, I'm excited to get my test results for testosterone levels. Mind you, I'm taking Magnum Thrust and E-Break. A month after I run out, I'll get another one. Okay, good for you. All right. I have no experience with Magnum Thrust and E-Break. I'm assuming they're supplements, but I've never used them myself, so I can't comment on either one. But I respect you for getting out there and getting your blood work and levels checked. Okay, what else we got there? I finished my 12 egg a day, 1 meal a day for 30 days, and I lost 10 pounds, but that wasn't my focus. I actually felt great, and I still worked out the same, stayed hydrated, and a good experience for me. All right, so there. 12 eggs a day for 30 days, and you lose 10 pounds, and if it works, great. I personally wouldn't, recommend that. When I look at a nutrition plan, I look at, is this well balanced? Is this enjoyable? Is this something I can sustain for the rest of my life? And simply eating 12 eggs a day every day for the rest of my life is not a very well balanced approach. As far as losing weight, like, losing weight's easy. It really is. It's keeping it off long term is the hard part. Like, if you want to lose weight, I'll give you a strategy that's guaranteed to work. It's 100% success rate, non-negotiable. If you follow this, you will lose weight. I guarantee you. Stop eating. Just don't eat. Right? Go 30 days. Don't eat. I guarantee you'll lose weight. Will you enjoy it? Nope. Will it be healthy? Nope. Will you sustain it for the rest of your life? Nope. But you will lose weight in the short term. Right? Like, that's how ridiculous some of the fad diets are that are out there. Like, you see all, like, the magazines, like, you go to the grocery store and you see, like, the magazines that are at the checkout aisle, right? There's all this, like, drop 10 pounds in 10 days and blah, 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 and all this, the super Hollywood miracle diet, and, so-and-so celebrity lost X amount of weight. And, like, yeah, if you starve yourself or you go on some crazy low-calorie diet or some sort of, like, if you do the typical bodybuilding bro diet, right? Hey, chicken and broccoli and 2 hours of cardio a day, you're going to lose weight. You're going to get shredded. I guarantee you. If you do that and you stick with it, like, you're going to get there. However, depending on how much fat you have right now, but, like, let's just say, even if you are 50 pounds overweight, if you just eat nothing but boiled chicken and broccoli and you do 2 hours of cardio a day plus your weight training workouts, man, within 6 months, you could have that weight gone and you could be lean and trim and you might be shredded, but you will feel miserable. And I'm telling you, that's the reality of it. I mean, that's what I used to do every time I compete in a bodybuilding show. I'd go on these crazy hardcore cutting diets, just put on the blinders, rely on pure willpower and determination and just grit it out. But as soon as that contest was over, as soon as the finish line where I could say, okay, the diet is done, then I'd go back to my old eating habits. I'd binge, I'd regain the weight back again, and then I'd be fatter than ever, back to square one, more frustrated and pissed off. Like, starving yourself is not a lifestyle. If you don't enjoy it and you can't sustain it, then the results are only temporary. You have to find a way where you can get eating satisfaction and pleasure and have a diet that is healthy and sustainable if you want long-term results. Simply starving yourself or going on some, whatever different types of fad diets. There's everything from carnivore diets to cabbage soup diets to coffee and grapefruit diets to, whatever. There are all these different diets from vegan and keto and you name it. But like if you don't enjoy it and you can't sustain it as a lifestyle, the results are only temporary. Like if your diet has a start date and an end date, the results are temporary. It has to be like evergreen. It never ends. It's just the way you eat. And once you make that transition, that shift, that's when the results are there to last. And it's not just another cut or another, a short-term 30-day shred or some crap like that. I mean, you want to lose weight and keep it off and enjoy it for the rest of your life. Let's see what else we've got. Lee is joining in saying, I have an issue with my shoulder and I'm having a scan on it tomorrow. Can you recommend some exercises to work my chest, press-ups, bench presses, or too sore? I'm going to rest it for a few weeks first. Get it checked out and see what the problem is. I mean, I can't really recommend anything until I know what the issue is. I mean, if let's just say you got a rotator cuff tear, then you might not be able to do anything until that heals up, or you get surgery or whatever, get it fixed. So, it really depends on what it is that you have done. I'm glad that you're getting it checked out and you're actually getting a scan, but let me know after you get your results from whatever, your checkup, your scan that you're getting done, and then we can probably, brainstorm some ideas. And ideally, even the better situation there would to see a physiotherapist in person, preferably someone who's used to working with athletes, and get them to diagnose you and take you through some different exercises and mobility drills and see what it is that you can and can't do, and have them recommend some stuff. Because obviously, if somebody can see you in person, they'll be able to give you a much better tips and suggestions than just trying to answer questions through a YouTube comment. Let's see what else we got. You know that there's someone from Italy. Cheers. Okay. we have somebody from Italy. Cheers. I don't know if that was a question, a comment, or just an acknowledgement. Mike, what do you think about push-pull legs? I love it. It's a great split. I have several push-pull legs playlists up on my YouTube channel right now. It's a very, very simple to follow and well laid out plan. I mean, you pair all your pressing muscles in one group, one workout, all your pulling muscles in the next workout, and then of course your legs and the final workouts. Very often I'll even throw in abdominals with legs. But yeah, I like push-pull legs. Jake is joining us. He says it's the last day for Pack Sabbath. I'm not even sure what that is, and we have to remember not to be sad that it's over, but that it happened. Okay, I have no comment because I'm not familiar with what you're talking about. What do you think about resistance exercise bands? I love them. I've used a lot of resistant exercise bands, especially when the gyms were closed down during the whole COVID situation. I've got playlists and workouts showing resistance band workouts. And on the Total Fitness Bodybuilding Facebook page, we even did a series where we were doing some daily live home workouts, primarily using body weight and resistance bands. And, for a lot of my coaching students, especially those who are still in areas where the gyms are not open, that's what we're focusing on. I mean, resistance bands is like the cheapest and most effective and most convenient form of a home gym. I mean, when I travel, I pack resistance bands in my suitcase because then I have, access to a workout wherever I go. I mean, between body weight and resistance bands, you can pretty much hit every major muscle group and get a good workout in doing so. So yeah, I definitely love resistance bands. Mike saying, I'm concerned about taking pre-workout supplements. Can I become dependent on it? In a way, yes. for lack of a better word, because you can kind of become hooked on the whole caffeine and the stimulants that are in pre-workouts. And this is what often happens for a lot of people. You take a pre-workout for the first time and it's like, oh my God, this stuff is amazing. And you have energy to burn and you're bouncing off the walls, right? You got tons and tons of energy. And then after a while, you get used to it and you're like, okay, I'm not really feeling the same energy, but if I don't take the pre-workout, then I have no energy at all. So I need to take the pre-workout now just to get up to normal energy levels again. And then eventually you get to the point where you need to take more and more of the pre-workout to get any effect from it. and it kind of gets to the point where it's not really doing anything anymore, and you sometimes just need it to kind of like even maintain your energy. And one thing I found with a lot of pre-workouts is some of them are overkill. Like it's just like a competition to see who can jam the most caffeine and the most stimulants per serving into a pre-workout. And the numbers are just astronomical. Like hundreds of milligrams of caffeine in some of them, and whatever other, stimulants that they can jam in there as well. And I don't like that feeling. I really don't. I don't like to have that jittery, wired feeling. I mean, a little bit of caffeine is nice. Like for me, I like to have a cup of black coffee before I go to the gym. I mean, it's a little bit of caffeine to kind of give me that mental pick me up and that little. I just feel that a nice cup of coffee, it just perks me up and gives me a little bit of energy, but it's not overkill. Like I'm not jittery or wired or anything like that, and it doesn't affect me negatively. I actually enjoy it. And so that's what I'll take before my workout. Like this morning, before I went to the gym, I had a cup of coffee. Just a large. Well, it wasn't a cup; it was a mug, right? A mug of black coffee. That's what I had before I went to the gym, and that was fine, right? That was enough to get me through the workout, feel good, and not have the caffeine or the stimulant crash or whatever afterwards. So that's my take on it. And I'm not a huge fan of the pre-workouts. If you are going to use them, like first off, be conservative. Like a lot of them, you could probably get away with half the serving size and still get, a lot of stimulant. Because I have some pre-workouts that I've tried in the past, and I find that the full scoop of most modern day pre-workouts is overkill. Like I wouldn't be able to handle the sheer volume of caffeine that's in most pre-workouts these days, like 300 and 400 milligrams per serving and stuff. Like, heck, I mean, in my case, 1 to 200 milligrams of caffeine is like max. I wouldn't want to go any more than that. So a lot of them are overkill for sure, and you want to be conservative with it, or just skip them altogether and just stick with, a good old cup of coffee. That's my pre-workout choice. Let's see. Says maybe I'll stick to pre-workouts on leg day. I mean, if you want to use it, I'm not saying it's all personal preference, and it all depends on how much you're using and everything else. I'm just sharing my experience. Like I find most pre-workouts are overkill, and if I do take it, I take like half a serving, and I find that is more than enough. And I'm not totally against it. Like sometimes if I need to get shit done, I'll take a pre-workout. Like if I have to work overtime and I have projects to do, like very often the time that I will take a pre-workout is not even related to a workout. It might be related to work, as in like writing something or getting some projects done, or something that's on a deadline, and I need to kind of like work overtime to get things done. If I'm feeling mentally and physically exhausted, but I still have a lot of work to do, and it's only like a short-term thing, then I'll sometimes take a pre-workout to give me that extra boost of energy to get stuff done. But it's not a regular thing. It's not something that I want to do on a daily basis as a habit, because you can easily burn yourself out with too much pre-workout. But in the odd occasion when you do need to kind of like pull out all stops and get a bit of extra energy, it can certainly help. What do you think about having both heavy and light days in a week? For example, the PHAT routine by Lane Norton. I'm not familiar with Lane's routine, but the whole idea of alternating heavy and light workouts, that's nothing new. That's been around for a long time, and it works. It certainly does work. I've utilized it for a lot of my training programs over the years. Like the Blast Your Bench program is based around heavy and light, alternating heavy and light workouts. Even Blast Your Biceps, that had heavy and light workouts in there. There's a lot of different programs, heavy and light. It's nice because you're getting different aspects of muscular development. You're getting the heavy power training, working more of the fast twitch muscle fibers, and you're getting in the lighter, higher volume training, working more of the slower twitch muscle fiber. So it's a very complementary form of training. I mean, you can certainly make it work. Or some people like to combine heavy and light training into the same workout. Like maybe start off with your heavy compound lifts and then finish off with some lighter high volume isolation lifts. And that's pretty standard as well. But the idea of combining heavy and light into a workout routine can be very effective. And there's multiple ways to go about it. It's not necessarily that one is right or wrong, good or bad. It's just there's different ways of going about it. Let's see. Lee Dunnigan says he's not a fan of pre-workouts. He does not like the tingly feeling. The tingly feeling that you get in most pre-workouts comes from the beta-alanine. That has it does have this weird, make you itchy, tingly, pins and needly feeling. That's the beta-alanine. It's not necessarily bad, but it's not necessarily comfortable either. He says instead he prefers to have some carbohydrates, a banana about 90 minutes before, and it seems to work. Yeah, I mean, as far as like actually giving you real energy, like food actually gives you real energy to run on. Like the pre-workout kind of just gives you the stimulants to kind of like get you jacked up and wired, but there's no actual calories or energy to burn, so to speak, in a pre-workout. Most of them are very low in calorie, or in some cases even calorie free. But if you need actual energy in terms of like something to run on, yeah, you want some actual food, like preferably like easy digesting carbohydrates, like fruit is great, something like that. It really depends on the workout and how long you're training for and all that kind of stuff. Like endurance athletes are, typically have, will have carbohydrates before and sometimes during their workouts, depending on how long the workout is. If you're training for an hour or less, you don't need to preload with carbs or anything like that. But if you're doing a long training session or some long endurance event, something that's lasting hours, then yeah, you definitely need to have some carbohydrates in there to keep your energy levels up, keep your glycogen levels up. Let's see what else we've got. Mike saying, good talk. Thanks for your help. Says his leg day to day. Needs to go and work out and stop procrastinating. All right, awesome. Good for you, Mike. Hopefully you have a good workout. I know you got your pre-workout in you, so I mean you're caffeinated and motivated, and hopefully you have a good workout. Brad is saying I usually do a 2-hour workout 6 days a week. Is that a bad habit? If you can recover from it, you have the work capacity for it, you enjoy it, you're making progress, then no, it's not bad. If you find that it's too much in terms of you're not making progress and you're feeling burnt out and exhausted, then maybe it is. Like it we all have our own individual fitness levels. We all have our own individual recovery levels, our work capacities. Like what is too much for one person may not be enough for another, and vice versa. There's no universal rule. It's like saying, how heavy is heavy? It depends on who you're talking to, right? If you're working out with Brian Shaw or Eddie Hall or someone, then what they consider heavy is freaking heavy. If you're working out with, your 85-year-old grandma, what she considers heavy is, carrying in a bag of groceries. So it depends on the individual. Same with the workouts. Like some people can handle 6 days a week in the gym. Other people are burnt out with 3 days a week in the gym, right? Some people can work out for 2 hours at a time and have energy to burn. Other people work out for 30 minutes and they're ready to have a nap. Like there's no right or wrong, good or bad or anything like that. It all depends on you and your individual situation and fitness level. What I would recommend for if you're just starting out is be conservative. Start off on the low side and then build up as you progress. Like there's always room to improve and progress. Like you can always add more time to your workout, or you can always increase the weight later on. You can always build. But a big mistake that a lot of people make is trying to do too much too soon. And then when that happens, if you do too much too soon, then you can end up getting burnt out, overtrained, or injured. And then it's a lot harder to bounce back after an injury, right? It's much easier to start small and build up than to do too much too soon and then have to back off, or worst case scenario, get injured and then have to go through rehab. So again, as far as, is it bad? No, it's not bad. It's just, I don't know your fitness level. Can you handle it? Are you making progress with it? That's something that you really have to ask yourself, and you have to kind of like be your own coach, right? Analyze everything. Like look at your progress, look at your training log, look at everything, look at how your body's responding. Like if you're making gains and you're feeling good, then keep doing it. If you're not making gains and you're feeling burnt out, then maybe you're doing too much. Can I ask a question that's a bit off topic? Well, you can ask it. Whether I'll answer it depends. That's from Mr. Playboy J. And by that name, I don't know. Playboy J. Anyway, ask your question and I'll see if I'll answer it. No guarantees. And it's a good one, that's probably the one we'll clue up the video on. And if it's not a good one, then I'll answer somebody else's question. But we're getting close to the top of the hour there now, so I'm going to get ready and clue it up. All right, let's see what else. If you're enjoying the video chat, please hit the thumbs up button. If you enjoy these video chats and you want me to keep doing them, then let me know. Give us a bit of support and a thumbs up on the chat there. All right. The more thumbs up, the more I'll actually start doing these video chats. So if you do appreciate it, I would appreciate your feedback as well. All right, I'm waiting for that question to come through there. We're at the end of the questions. It's very rare that I actually get to the end of the questions, so I feel quite accomplished today, right? I'm actually going to end the video chat with questions done. Is my message not going through or something? Maybe it's not. You post it again. If your message didn't come through, post it again. I went through, I answered all the questions. There was a bit of jibber jabber comments in there that weren't even worth answering that I didn't address. But if you have a legitimate question with regards to fitness, nutrition, building muscle, losing fat, something along those lines, post it. And let's say, okay. I am an aspiring professional wrestler. This is from Playboy J, so maybe that's where the name comes from, because he is a professional wrestler. And if you know anything about professional wrestling, you have to have a very well thought out, made up name. So Mr. Playboy J is an aspiring professional wrestler. He wants to work out and gain muscle solely for show. I realize that calories are king. I still eat pizza, ice cream when I crave it, just with moderation. Is this good? Okay. As far as the whole situation, like, I mean, it depends on what it is that you're training for. I mean, if you're trying to get bigger, then pizza and ice cream and stuff like that, even though it's not healthy, it's not very nutritionally dense, it can help you to pack on the pounds, right? I mean, like, let's be honest. If you are a skinny hard gainer and you're just looking to fill out your frame, then yeah, high calorie junk food does work in that regard. All right, it's not the best. It's not something that I would technically recommend, because very often when you do go the junk food route, the dirty bulk route, if you will, then you're not gaining the optimal ratio of lean muscle to body fat. Like, very often you're going to end up gaining more body fat than you are lean muscle. But from a wrestling point of view, if you're just trying to get big, then, you know, it may actually work for you in the short term. Because, I mean, like, when you look at professional wrestlers, like, they come in all shapes and sizes. Like, some look like competitive bodybuilders, and some look just like, you know, ginormous, you know, ogres, right? Like, think of Andre the Giant or the Big Show or guys like that. I mean, just these big, massive slabs of you know, just huge men, but there's no muscle definition or anything like that. I mean, they got a lot of mass, they got a lot of fat, they got a lot of everything. They're still big, strong guys, and they put on a good show, and it's great for wrestling. But it really depends on you. Like, are you trying to get that lean, you know, aesthetically pleasing physique? Or are you just trying to get as big and strong as possible? If your goal is just to get as big and strong as possible, then yeah, adding in a bit of junk food can actually help with it. But, you know, you need to look at the overall picture. I mean, obviously, it's not as healthy. It's empty calories. It's not quality nutrition. Like, the way I look at my nutrition is I want to get the most bang for my calorie buck, if you will. Like, if I'm going to eat, like, let's just say I average 2,500 calories a day. I want to get the most nutritional value for that 2,500 calories as I can. I don't want 2,500 calories of you know, ice cream and gummy worms. I want 2,500 calories of lean protein and fruits and vegetables and high quality foods that's actually going to nourish and fuel my body and make it healthy and strong, not just empty, fattening, sugary, crappy calories. So, you know, look at, you have to kind of weigh the pros and cons for your own situation. Would I do it? No, but then again, I wouldn't be a professional wrestler either. So it's something you're going to have to decide for yourself. Great. Let's see what else. Great live chat again. I got so much good info every week. Thanks for your chats. Oh, it's from Lee. You're welcome. I ran out of space. Do you think that's a good mindset? Oh, what else? What's a good mindset? I don't know. I think I missed it. Is HIIT cardio more effective than steady state? Uh, for what? What are you try? What is it more effective for? Like, are you training for increasing your endurance and for some sort of sport or activity, or are you just trying to burn body fat? If it's just for body fat, steady state is better for burning body fat. The reason why is because you can do it for longer and you can burn more total calories, and it's going to have less of a impact on your recovery. When it comes to all this stuff, like a lot of these questions, you need to look at the bigger picture, right? Like that's a very limited piece of information. High intensity interval cardio versus steady state cardio. Well, who's it for? What other forms of exercise are you doing? Are you trying to lose weight? Are you trying to build muscle? Are you trying to improve athletic performance? Like there's so many missing variables there, and all that stuff comes into play. And that's the purpose of having a coach. Because like you can go on Google and you can go on YouTube and you can go on all these different platforms and just start randomly searching information. And then someone might blurt out a piece of information and say, hey, I do this and everybody should do this. But okay, that might work for a certain demographic or certain people who are trying to achieve a certain goal, but it might not work for everybody. Like if you take someone who's a skinny hard gainer who's 21 years old and they're 125 pounds and he wants to bulk up to 150 pounds, the advice that you would give that person is totally different than someone who's, a 50-year-old office worker who's 250 pounds, overweight, high blood pressure, pre-diabetic, and wants to lose weight and hopefully not die of a heart attack. Like two totally ends of the spectrum, two totally different diets, two totally different workouts, two totally different mindsets. Like the advice you would give an overweight 50-year-old is not the same advice you would give an underweight 20-year-old. And so like all these different questions, like people throw out, well, should I do this or should I do that? Should I do this? It depends. It depends. Like, would you have your grandmother follow the same workout that you're following? No, of course not. I mean, heck, she probably can't even walk the length of herself, right? Or vice versa. Do you think like an elite level powerlifter is going to follow the same workout you're following? No, your workout is his warm up, right? It all depends. There's no right or wrong answer here. It depends on the individual and their situation, right? That's one of the things where having a coach who can customize something to you, your situation, your needs, your body type, your lifestyle, all that's where it comes into play. And that's one of the things that I've really focused on specializing in over the last few years, because I've gotten fed up with the one size fits all cookie cutter approach. Because the problem with the cookie cutter approach is if you fit the cookie cutter, it's great. If you don't fit the cookie cutter, it sucks, right? So you need to customize it to the individual. So if you would like some help when it comes to your nutrition, your workouts, your cardio, all that kind of stuff, if you would like some help with it, hey, reach out to me. Send me an email, leeh@leehayward.com. Send me an email, and I'd be more than happy to chat with you. If I feel I can help you, then I'll let you know. And if I can't, then I'll try and point you in the right direction to somebody who can. Right? I don't claim to have all the answers or to be perfect or anything like that, but I do have a large network of people in the fitness industry. So if I can't help you, then the chances are I'll probably be able to point you in the right direction to somebody who can. So if you would like some help with any of this stuff, or you'd like clarification on anything that we talked about, hey, feel free to email me, leeh@leehayward.com, and I'd be more than happy to chat with you. And with that being said, I'm going to clue it up because my wife is out there preparing a beautiful supper for us, and I want to get out there and enjoy dinner with my family. So I hopefully you enjoyed this video chat, and I will have the replay of it posted up afterwards, and I'll talk to you next week. Same time, same place. Take care. Over and out.